Before Jamestown, before Roanoke, before the Pilgrims, a half-century before the arrival of English colonists, America was settled by Europeans. Scholars and archaeologists are now uncovering the untold story of America's earliest settlers. After 450 years, this extraordinary history will change the way we think of our nation and ourselves. In the 1500s, old Europe was torn by wars, growing from quests for land, power, religion, and conflict over royal privilege. One thing all crowned heads of Europe shared, however, was a thirst for gold and silver. The real and rumored riches of the New World across the Atlantic had all major countries sending expeditions to follow the sea paths opened by Christopher Columbus in 1492. The race was on to own the New World.
Spain was doing all of this overtly. The other countries were having to do it covertly. The Spanish tercios, when focused, were marching over everyone that they came against during the early part of the 16th century. So no one in their right mind wanted to go up against Spain with armies on the ground.
In 1562, France established a military post called Charles Fort at what is now Parris Island, South Carolina. It was garrisoned for 11 months before the troops abandoned the location. 2 years later, French soldiers built an outpost just north of present-day Jacksonville, Florida. It was christened Fort Caroline. All this French adventurism and fort building was seen as an outrage by Philip II of Spain. He vowed to eliminate French incursions into what he considered his La Florida.
Putting under the Spanish crown, under the Spanish control, a huge territory that was called La Florida, and it was so immense, the territory, that included the things that they knew they were there, and the country that was unknown. So we can say that under La Florida, the denomination, there were actually the 48 actual United States.
But who would lead the Spanish campaign to dominate the Americas? King Philip chose his best and most aggressive military leader, the greatest sea captain and soldier under the Spanish flag, Pedro Menendez de Avilés.
Pedro Menendez de Avilés was a man, was a sailor. He became very famous in Spain. He was #1 military sailor in the Spain of the 16th century.
Menendez had a flawless record of fighting pirates, extending Spanish power, and bringing shiploads of gold back to Spain. Fighting violent Atlantic storms, Menendez's troops reached the Florida coast in the late fall of 1565. He marched north, surprised the French at the garrison at Fort Caroline, and eliminated them. Agreeing with the king's suggestion, Menendez located his capital to the area of Port Royal Sound, renaming it Santa Elena. The area we know as Parris Island had many advantages. The governor knew that Port Royal's deep water port would allow shipping to and from Europe. It was a safe harbor from Atlantic storms.
I realized that if we were able to secure the deep port at Santa Elena, that we could reroute the treasure fleets rather than coming through the most dangerous part of those straits between Cuba and La Florida and the Bahamas. We would be able to bring our treasure fleets through the Gulf of Mexico to where the site of the settlement of Tristan de Luna had been. Unload the cargo there and bring them overland to Santa Elena, thereby bypassing all of those treacherous waters, especially in the time of the seasons of the great storms.
By 1571, Santa Elena would become Europe's first major settlement in what is now present-day United States, and thus became the capital city, complete with a school, courthouse, churches, blacksmith shops, farms, and several hundred Spanish citizens. For more than 2 decades, Santa Elena was the center of Spanish rule in America. Today, archaeologists and historians are hard at work to learn more about Santa Elena and the lost century it represents. The Spanish roots of America are deeper than commonly understood, and in many ways set the path for later English domination of North America. As Santa Elena slowly gives up its secrets, what important new stories will we learn about America and about ourselves?
Everyone wanted to come here. Everybody wanted to leave the old European settlements, and they wanted to start a new life. We really did the job of bringing up our culture, our civilization, our heritage, our understanding of the world. We are not inventing anything. We are going to tell the truth, the real story of the United States. And this is something that has to be done. It has to be done. And it has to be, children should start knowing the story of his own nation. How can you love your nation and knowing your roots if you don't know your story?
We have lost a complete century of the founding of what is now the United States. We lost the culture, the history, the lessons. We are in a unique position. We can either watch this unfold, or we can be part of it.